Thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Kayla Kedel, and I'm here to talk to you about the lives and accomplishments of two influential and admired scientists of the 20th century, Niels Bohr and Gilbert Lewis. Niels Bohr was born October 7, 1885 in Copenhagen, Denmark. His mother Ellen Adler and father Christian Bohr. He was the second of three children, older sister Jenny and his brother Harold Bohr, who became a mathematician and played in the 1908 Summer Olympics. Bohr attended Copenhagen University, where he received his master's in 1909 and his doctorate in 1911, both in physics. He won a gold medal in a contest by the Academy of Sciences in Copenhagen for the experimental investigation on measurements of liquid surface tension using oscillating fluid jets. In 1911, Bohr did his postdoctoral research in England with other scientist Ernest Rutherford on atomic structures. In 1912, Niels Bohr married the love of his life, Margaret Norland, and had 6 children, of which 2 died in unfortunate accidents. In 1916, he became a professor of theoretical physics at the University of Copenhagen. And in 1920, he founded the Institute of Theoretical Physics and served as the administrator until 1962. This institution was later named after Niels Bohr in 1965. Some of his life work and achievements are in 1921, he received Hughes Medal from the Royal Society of London. In 1922, Bohr was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in recognition for his services in the investigation of the structure of atoms and the radiation emanating from them. In 1923, he was conferred the Matteucci Medal by the Italian Society of Sciences. In 1930, he received the Max Planck Medal. In 1938, the Copley Medal from the Royal Society of London. And in 1957, the United States Atoms for Peace Award. At the end of World War II, Bohr helped create the European Center of Nuclear Research in Geneva, Switzerland. In 1958, Bohr published the famous thesis, Atomic Theory and Human Knowledge. In 1962, Niels Bohr died in his hometown due to a heart failure. The second scientist in this presentation is Gilbert Lewis, who was born October 25, 1875 in Weymouth, Massachusetts. Gilbert was the only child to Frank Lewis and Mary White. And in 1884, Gilbert moved to Lincoln, Nebraska, where his parents taught him education at home. In 1889, at 9 years old, he went to a preparatory school at the University of Nebraska. Lewis attended University of Nebraska for 2 years before he transferred to Harvard University, where he received a bachelor's degree in 1896, a master's of arts in 1898, and a PhD in philosophy in 1899. After his PhD, he became a professor at Harvard for 1 year. Gilbert Lewis postdoctoral research with physic-chemist Wilhelm Ostwald and Walter Nernst in Germany for 1 year. In 1901, Lewis returned to Harvard University as the instructor in thermodynamics and electrochemistry. A few years later, in 1904, he became the superintendent of weights and measures in the Philippine Islands and chemist in the Bureau of Science at Manila for 1 year. In 1912, Lewis appointed Dean of the College of Chemistry and Chair of the Department of Chemistry at the University of California, Berkeley. Gilbert Lewis did his doctoral dissertation on thermochemical and electrochemical properties of amalgams, which was published in 1898. In 1916, he worked on atomic models and formulated his own model called the cubic atom model. This proclaimed the idea of a covalent bond, which refers to the shared electrons in nonmetallic elements that have 4 to 7 electrons of valence, and also formulated the octet rule. These ideas were disseminated and developed by Irving Langmuir in 1923. In 1919, Lewis discovered first evidence that the atom of oxygen tetrameric by conducting the studies of magnetic properties of solutions between oxygen and liquid nitrogen. 4 years later, he formulates the theory of electronic torque in acid-base chemical reactions known as Lewis acids and bases. In 1923, Gilbert Lewis published Thermodynamics and the Free Energy of Chemical Substances with Merle Randall. And in 1926, described the term photon, which he described as the smallest unit of radiant energy. Gilbert Lewis married Mary Sheldon in 1912, and they had 3 children together. While nominated over 30 times for the Nobel Prize, he never received the award. And in 1948, Gilbert Newton Lewis died in Berkeley, California from a heart attack while performing an experiment. In conclusion, society has benefited from the contributions of these 2 scientists in the areas of quantum theory and thermodynamics. Thank you.